She's on drugs or something. No, I'm totally, I just hate you. I hate. Okay, we're calling the cops on you because you're just sitting
I would kill, but the law says I can't kill them. If the law didn't say that I couldn't kill them, they'd all be dead.
Well, here's the thing. White America has been raised to believe, A, the police are always the good guys, and frankly, that black lives matter less than white comfort.
You have this imaginary wall around you. I don't know who damaged you. And me being a black man, I have to suffer for what somebody did to you? That has nothing to do with me. I'm not the enemy. I get that a lot from black women, that we're the enemy, we're liars, cheaters, we're dogs.
As a film director, you want to talk to those who just loving these brothers, these rappers. In fact, rappers such as Rick Ross, rappers such as Lil Wayne, those out there having you falling in love with that nonsense, having fallen in love with thinking that that's reality when they're talking about balance. But they living other than that. See, they walking around with bodyguards and etc. And they got you out here gang banging, got you out here shooting and killing one another. But listen, all that, the reality of it is when I see you. When I see you, it's over. It's over. Why? You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Hey, this is Perry Duff coming at you live from the Hustler's Corner, New York City. In this part 4 of our session with James Ellis, a man who's incarcerated for a crime he did not commit, we talk about the crime scene and what actually took place there. We talk about the corruption in the criminal justice system, but we also talk about what could have been the betrayal that he had faced, and one particular person who may have actually thrown him under the bus in this situation. He may be the reason why he's behind bars. Wait till you find out who he is. As always, if you like this show, please help us grow. Hit that like button, share, leave a comment, and as always, subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Going over these articles, the more I read them, the more I'm like, man, this is really a film project. It really is. We talked last time about you being at the scene, and you said that you really wasn't there, and about the DNA or the fingerprints on the window. Now, from what I'm reading here, I'm also talking about the attorney who represented you and how he was a public defender and that he was, did a poor job of defending you, and that they just railroaded you with one murder conviction after the other. If they didn't give you murder in the first, and they get you murder in the second. If they can't get you murder in the second, then they get you murder in the third. They're just piling on murder convictions with you, which, in my honest opinion, I think is truly unconstitutional. It's illegal to do that, but this is what they're doing down there.
Right.
Now, would you say you're the only one they're doing this to, or they're doing that to other people down there?
Oh no, they're doing that to a lot of guys, because a lot of guys don't know. You know, I mean, everybody just assume that that what they do is right. So a lot of guys, if you don't know law, you just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and if your public defender come along and tell you that it's legal, then you just assume it's legal.
All right. So I see now why it's so it's the counselor or attorney or lawyer industry is so looked down upon, because after doing my interviews with other guests who also had their experience with nefarious attorneys, turns out that even they don't know the law. They don't even read and study themselves.
They just
No,
take your
no.
money and say whatever they want. They just tell you anything, take your money, and leave you hanging high and dry. And
Yes, they will.
so when it comes to these shows like, NCIS or say like The Practice, how they put them on TV of these noble, honorable attorneys out there fighting for justice, and it's all a bogus lie.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it is.
I mean, from one of our guests, the guy tells me that he's been in court and he's seen attorneys come and the attorneys come to court high, they come to court drunk, they come to court. I'm like, these are attorneys. And
Right.
if that's not enough,
Right.
then the judges come to the court drunk. The judges come to the court high. I
Yeah.
mean, they're falling asleep in the courtroom when they're supposed to be representing them. They're in the courtroom sleeping, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm hearing all this stuff. Now, I want to get to you
Yeah.
a pretty tough question I got for you, bro. I've been reading these articles that you've
Okay.
sent me. Yeah. Now, you say that you wasn't there.
Right.
Were you or were you not there on that scene?
No, I was absolutely not there on that scene. I took the stand and I put myself at the crime scene, and I'm gonna tell you how that came about. My lawyer Tom Miller had came to me, and he was talking about the partial thumbprint, and I was telling him that's not my print. That's not my print.
Okay.
And he said, and he convinced me that, I know that and you know that, but do you think this all-white jury is going to believe that with a white victim? You're a young black man with a criminal record. Do you think that they're going to believe that? And he said, and he told me that the easiest way to explain the print is to justify it instead of trying to fight it. And he said that, and then he went into my brother. He said that Stephanie Mack and another witness, Jeannie Andrews, had went to the grand jury and said something about my brother.
Okay.
And that they were saying that, that they didn't believe I did it, but my brothers did it. And so Tom Miller went to my brother and said, well, hey, look, we can use you to raise reasonable doubt. Would you be willing to allow your brother to go up there and point the finger at you? Because that would raise reasonable doubt, but he convinced us that they would not arrest my brother, and they couldn't arrest my brother.
That's what I'm reading right here. I'm reading here in an article that James Ellis, who faced the death penalty, was the first witness called in his defense. It says that you said that you did not beat, sexually assault, and strangle Mary Utter in 1989.
Right.
It says that you claim that your brother did it.
What I actually said was that I said that my brother, that somebody told me that my brother was over there or something, and I went over there to see if he was okay or something like that, something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, my lawyer, he had convinced us that that this would raise reasonable doubt, and he was saying that basically this is enough to get me a not guilty decision. And and at the time I'm young. This is my lawyer. I'm just assuming that he's that he's driving the car and he's telling us the right things, and so he went to my sister Denise,
okay,
and my wife at the time, Adrian, and they went and sent my brother to Arizona and put him in a hotel in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
During the trial. Tom told my sister, and my sister Denise is a principal, and so they sent him to Arizona and put him up in a hotel room so that the prosecutor couldn't find him to dispute what I was saying on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister and them, they agreed to get my brother out of town, and my brother agreed to it. He was just like, if it's gonna help my brother, if it's gonna save his life, yeah, go ahead and do it. But then I later found out that this is a lot of the reason why my lawyers didn't want my family in the courtroom.
Okay.
Because this was already planned to coerce me to put myself at the crime scene. This was already planned.
Now, I'm going to read you something. Don't take offense. I'm just showing you what Just letting you know I've been doing my homework here. It says here in this article, near the end of your 5-hour testimony, you said that your brother appeared at Ellis Lincoln Heights apartment several hours before Utter's bodies was found and confessed. It says that your brother was on crack and that he asked you not to promise not to say anything, and that he informed you that he had done something and someone got hurt. That's pretty tight, bro. That's tight. You tell me in your own words.
Yeah, you know.
I'm just
yeah, and I remember I did say something to that degree. To that degree, I did say something to that. To that effect. I'm not sure exactly what the wording was, but now that you just said that, it did sound familiar.
Bro, these are
like
your
I
words.
said, it was
unless this paper misrepresented your words or what they call spoke out of context. This is what I'm reading right here. Now, that's tough, bro. That's tough. And
yeah, it is.
It is. It's tough, bro.
It is, and my lawyers knew how this would look, and they knew getting me to put myself at the crime scene. They knew how that would look as well. But at the time, I'm like I said, I'm 24 years old. I don't know nothing about the law. All I know is that I'm facing a death penalty.
Okay.
And I'm willing to do whatever to try to save my life. My family, they was in the same situation. They willing to do whatever to help me save my life.
Okay.
So I know exactly how it looks.
Mm-hmm. That looks.
And I'm not disputing any of that.
That looks kind of rough, bro. That looks kind of rough, man. Now, I'm not saying you did it. I believe you did not do it. But when I read this, now let me read this to you. I'm going to read this to you. Now, again, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm not trying to make it seem like you're the one that's the guilty party. I'm just showing you what I'm reading here and let you know I did my homework. And let you know that, boy, this is some tough stuff right here. This is the making, because I also happen to be a filmmaker, and I would love to make a film project about this, because this is some serious information. It seems to me like you've been betrayed not only by the attorney, you've been betrayed by your family. That's what it seems like. I could be wrong, but you tell me in your own words. Here's what I'm reading. It says that your brother said you had done something and someone got hurt. He said that you asked him what happened and that he just kept saying somebody got hurt. Then, check this out now. Your brother said that the incident occurred on Wayne Avenue in Woodlawn. Concerned about what your brother said, you walked away from his apartment to Wayne Avenue and began looking around Mrs. Utter's house. You went up to her door, you was listening for sounds, but you couldn't hear any. So you knocked on her front door. Nobody answered. So you went around the house trying to see in windows. Bro, this is really starting to look rough, man. This is starting to look rough. It's saying here that you said that you left your thumbprint on an open basement window in Mrs. Utter's house. That's tough, bro. That's tough.
No, I don't. Now that part I don't recall, and I believe that we left the assumption out there that the fingerprint was left there. But we was like I said, my lawyer, he was saying that the easiest way to deal with the fingerprint was to justify instead of fighting.
Okay.
So this is how this whole story came about.
Okay. Now, so the question becomes, did you actually go there?
No, absolutely not.
Here you're saying
absolutely
that you
not.
went there. You're saying that you
said what now?
It's saying here that you said you went there.
When I took the stand, I did put myself at the crime scene. I'm not denying that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I did put myself at the crime scene,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing what I was doing. Even my brother, he didn't realize what he was doing, because my brother's been criticized and scrutinized about this for the last 20-something years. That you got your brother sitting in prison for you, and I mean he's been really going through it in his life because he tried to help me. All we thinking we doing is saving each other's life. We not paying attention to the dynamics of what we were actually doing, and nobody actually knew that except for the lawyers. They knew exactly what we were doing. No, I was just saying the lawyers, they knew exactly what they were doing when they had us do this. They knew what they were doing, and we didn't know what we were doing. We young, we from out of Lincoln Heights. We don't know nothing about what's going on, the magnitude. I mean, I wasn't even facing the death penalty, but they had us believe that I was facing the death penalty, and it's all in the paper, and I actually wasn't even facing the death penalty. But this is what they were pounding in our head every day, that, oh, you face the death penalty, you gonna die, they gonna put a needle in your arm.
I just want to say, this is what I'm reading based upon your testimony, that you went there because you were concerned about this woman. I don't believe you did it. I do not believe you did it. Especially when the thing that makes me believe you didn't do it was the DNA evidence on the fingerprint. It came back that it was not a match for you. But it seems to be narrowed down to between you and your brother.
This concludes this session of the Hustler's Corner in New York City. If you are a person that's incarcerated and you have books that you'd like to get out and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner in New York City Tales from the Pit series. If you are a person who has been wrongfully convicted of a crime that you did not commit and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner in New York City Victims of the System series. If you are a person who has been self-reformed, active in the community, came out of a past nefarious life to a more positive one, and you want to share your story, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner in New York City Legends of the Hood series. If you are a black business owner and you want to share your story of how you got your business off the ground and how you faced many challenges to succeed, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City Black Business Movement series. If you are a musician or an artist or a vocalist or a rap or hip hop artist and you want to share your story about your career and how you have grown it into success, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City On the Grind series. And if you are a woman who has been through traumatic times in her life only to overcome them, come share your story on the Hustler's Corner New York City Lipstick Stories series. And if you're enjoying this show, please help us grow. Show your love. Like, share, leave a comment, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you again. This is Perry L. Duff from the Hustler's Corner, New York City.
My numbers been drawn, and I could never measure up or measure it all. I am but a man with no grace of my own. Look at my hands, I am not scarred for you all. This is why I fall down at the feet of the king. Submission is a mission, I receive it every day. I am but a vessel, he leads me through my faith until the day that I